Model Railroad Mondays, June edition. I am your host, Engineer Pat 5290. Thank you for coming along board tonight. We've got a lot of good show planned for you for tonight. For the ones of you who are new, I welcome all of you to this new live stream. We talk about model railroad stuff. We talk about new releases from Ather, new releases from Atlas, and any of the manufacturers. We also talk about maybe if you're new to the hobby and would like to learn about the different scales. We talk about that. We also talk about maybe even some simple how-tos on how you can repair something and things like that. And we have actually helped each other on different tips as well. So please, I encourage all of you to come on board and take a look and see what we do. And we have lots of fun. So it's time to sit back and have a cold drink or food of your choice. And let's just get right to it. Let's have some fun tonight. So come on in and relax. This is all about relaxing, guys. Come on in. Make yourself at home. I see we do have some guys coming up. Please leave a comment, guys. Tell me that you're on. Come on down. Come on down. All right. Oh, we did have somebody pop in. Adrian Del Torco, cool kid too. Hey, man, how's it going? Glad to see that you're on. Guys, please come on down. Please come on down, and I'm here for you guys. I'm here to answer some model railroad questions and talk about new releases from Ather and so forth. So please come on down. Come on down. The house is open. Come on down. So I'm just waiting on you guys, and now we can talk a lot about, what the model railroad stuff is and some of the new releases that are out there. I know Ather has put out a bunch of releases with the Ready to Roll line as well as the Genesis line. As many collectors go with is Ather and Genesis because of their detail and their realistic features there with the beautiful Tsunami 2 sound, and also with other people as well that they stick with Ather and Genesis. Stephen Casey Railfans on. Hey man, how's it going? Glad to see you guys are on. Come on down, make yourself at home with the beverage of your choice and food of your choice. We are ready to rock and roll with some questions. So please ask questions, guys. Ask questions on model railroad stuff. This is where the fun is. This is a good little community group where we kind of talk about the different releases and maybe picking the right scale or maybe a simple how-to fix. And maybe I might be able to help with some directions of that. So please come on in, guys. Come on in. Don't be afraid to ask a question, okay? Please do not be afraid to ask a question. We are here. So at this time, I will turn it over to you guys and start asking away. We got a couple of people watching right now, so please start asking questions, guys. Please start asking questions. I'm here. Okay, Stephen KC just asked another question. I heard Ather and Genesis just released their aces. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They look really pretty. I know they've done a variety of paint schemes, and I was watching the Ather live stream recently on YouTube, which is Train Tuesdays, and the fellow name is Jim, who does a pretty good job as well. They've released a bunch of stuff, and Ather is always going back to what they were doing before and always improving. So I love Ather on that note. So come on in, continue to ask questions, guys. I'll keep this rolling for for as long as you guys keep asking questions. Last time it was more like an hour and a half of questions that came in. So I thank you guys for that and your continued support. So come on down and ask some questions. All right, I just got another question in from Adriel Del Toro Cool Kid 2. Do you know if Scale Trains has made some of the Norfolk Southern Heritage units? I know they have done some in the past. I don't know if they have done another run of those. I know they were doing a limited run of the CS6 Spirit units. I do know that. As far as the Heritage units go for another release, I don't know. So if somebody can maybe piggyback on this question here and excuse me, and give a better answer, that would be great. Excuse me there. What road names, this is from Stephen Casey, Railfan, what road names should Walders do for their next run of Triclop 60Ms? Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about that a second. I would like to see the Norfolk Southern scheme again. I would not mind seeing the Burlington Northern scheme. I would also really like to see the Sioux Line Candy Red Apple on the SD60 Triclops. If they did a run of the SD60 standard cab, I would love for them to do it in the original Sioux Line paint. Would love to see that. Mark Sink comes in. Hey, man, how's it going? Great to see you. Glad you're tuning in on the Model Railroad stream tonight. So please come on in and ask questions about model trains. Come on down. Come on down. But would not mind seeing, going back to Steve's question, I would not mind seeing the Sioux Line in the original, the red, yellow, and black. I would not mind seeing that on a run of their SD60s if they do one. Because that's a really pretty paint scheme. To me, it looks better than the Candy Red Apple on the SD60 standard cab. Guys, please ask questions. I'm just sending a little bit of a couple of texts here on the computer, so please continue to ask questions. Come on in and ask questions away. Come on down. I will be keeping this open for you guys, so please come on in. So, hope everybody's enjoying their Monday. I know it's the summer heat is already out, so remember to stay hydrated. Lots of good railfan practice of taking sunscreen with you as well as drinking water. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Stephen KC piggybacks on a question from before. He'd love to see BNSF patches on the Waco or CBFX on their Triclop 60Ms for Walders. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And I even wouldn't mind seeing a BNSF patch as well from like the real tiny one from 2001 or even the bigger one from 2004. There's still a bunch of BNSF engines that are tagged, patched on there from like the mid-2000s. So it's pretty incredible of what you can see out there, not just for the real railroads, but also for what Athearn and Athearn Genesis can do, or even Atlas and Walders of what they can do, which I think would be great to see that as well. So really good point, Steve. Really, really good. So guys, please keep asking questions. Please spread the word that we are rocking and rolling with this live stream, and we'll continue on with some more fun. So guys, keep the fun going. I'd love to see when fun's rolling. So please come on in, guys. Ask questions. Please ask questions. So, like I said, from here we do model train work. We talk about model train releases and maybe some upcoming releases that we can maybe talk about and see what maybe Athearn or anybody is getting ready to do. So please continue to ask questions because this is open for you guys. So we've got some people watching right now, so please leave a comment to let me know that you're on, and like to see who's on tonight. So guys, please come on down, and let's have some fun. So I've had some questions come in already, guys, so please get creative and ask. Going back to the maybe some Walders releases as well. Maybe I would not mind seeing different schemes on the BN the UP and BN schemes of the Triclops. Looking forward to getting my scale train CN Heritage unit, the ET44. See, I got the EJ&E press pre-ordered. Oh, nice, man! I'm glad to see they're doing those. Speaking of that, I'm kind of surprised that CN did heritage units since they technically already have them through the predecessor railroads on predecessor equipment. I mean, they put some on the GEs and the EJ&E, speaking of that, actually looks really good in HO scale. Scale trains did a really nice job as well. Oh, wow, we got other questions. Charles Bond, hey, man, how's it going? Thank you for coming in. I'm just getting started into the model railroad hobby. Congratulations. I was wondering what you think about a 10 by 12 layout with all Bachmann trains and all easy track in HO scale. Well, first of all, that is a wonderful question, and I thank you for bringing this up. One thing that I recommend, Bachmann is a good starter brand. Bachmann has some really good starter engines that are not too expensive, but they're not too cheap. It's in the middle for a starter. I started with Bachmann back in 2007 when I started my HO journey, but I've always been impressed with the Easy Track. Easy Track is the track to go with, and the Bachmann Easy Command Control Center. They're the best pieces out there that I recommend. I have sound locomotives with mine. I do Athearn and Athearn Genesis, and the Bachmann Easy Command Control Center is very friendly with other manufacturers, but I know with Bachmann stuff is pretty good. Their tooling is good as well, and basically they're indestructible. I still have my Bachmann engines from like the late 2000s, and they're still running. That tells you how tough Bachmann engines are. And if you're using Digitrax Dcc system, that is a great system. And Easy Track is very friendly with that. So let's say if you want to hook up a track wire with your Digitrax system with Bachmann's Easy Track, that is very, very good. That's very compatible with this. Because Bachmann, speaking of that, Bachmann is very friendly with other manufacturers. That's one thing that's unique about Bachmann. Stephen Casey asked, do you think Bachmann should make more Thomas and Friends train sets? For the younger kids, yes. That's a good starter for some of the younger kids. Because all you young guys out there remember Thomas. And I had that. I was in the Thomas for a while. And seeing that HO scale would be good. But going back to Charles's thing, I have got guys that have used Digitrax and they've used Bachmann Easy Track, and they've said it really does work. Bachmann Easy Track is unique. It snaps together, and roadbed is already attached with it, so that's good right there. It gives you some elevation. Some more things I can elaborate on Bachmann. Bachmann's stuff is pretty easy to repair. As far as rolling stock and engines go. They even have their sound value stuff as well. So sound value is pretty good from what I have been told. I have never owned a Bachmann sound engine, but I hear their sound pieces are pretty good. CJ4439 comes in. Hey, man, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. Pooh says we need Wisconsin Central SD45 from Scale Trains. I think I know who you're talking about. Yes, Wisconsin Central SD45s and HO scale. I love the Wisconsin Central paint scheme. So, yeah, that would be a really pretty paint scheme because there's only one SD45 that I know it's in existence in Wisconsin Central paint. It is at the Illinois Railroad Museum in Illinois, and I'm glad to see it is preserved. So, yeah. So, really good point. Really, really, really good point. I would not mind seeing that, and would not even mind seeing other locomotives that are not talked about anymore, like and CG. I'll look at your comment in a second. There's another one that's out there that I really do like, the SD38. I would not mind seeing another run of those. We need flared 70 Max and CSX, Athearn Genesis. Yes, sir. And Scales Trains River Counter AC44s. Yes, sir. I would not mind seeing Athearn doing another run of the Max. The flared ones are cool. I love the 4700 series because of not only of what they are, but their loud K5 LAs. I love them for that fact because when you can hear those things on the big rails, you can hear that horn like 3 miles away. I mean, that thing has, they're turned all the way up, and I love the sound of a loud K5 LA. So, good point there, brother. Keep the questions and comments coming in, guys. I'm just going to respond to a couple of quick text messages, so please continue to come in. This is great, guys. Let's just keep this going. Oh, yeah. So, Charles Bond comes back in. I now have 2 DCC sound-ready steam engines, 3 DCC sound-ready diesel engines, and I'm in the mix of learning this Digitrax with these engines. Perfect. DCC sound-ready, which just simply means the engine is capable of having sound. Some guys install sound. Some guys like to send it out to get it installed from like your local train store. One sound system I recommend, Tsunami 2 Sound. Tsunami 2 Sound is very good. That's what Athearn Genesis uses for their sounds. And it's very, very good. And it's really realistic. And I applaud Athearn for using that tooling. Now, for DCC ready locomotives, you can put a Digitrax decoder in it. I have some of those as well, where you can just put a decoder in it and put digital in it. Sound-ready locomotives are good, where you can add sound if you want to. Stephen KC put out a really good one. I think Scale Train should do AC6000, both operator and rivet counter. Yes, in one scheme. The CSX Y and 2, even the ones with diversity in motion. Would love to see those. Going back to Charles's comment here, I have a couple of guys that have been using Digitrax for a long time. They said it's actually pretty easy. There's a few other little features with that over easy command. I use easy command just because it's simple. Some guys like Digitrax because you can do a little bit more with it, which I have heard of. But Digitrax is pretty good. It's advanced, where you can do a lot with Digitrax. I got a friend of mine that lives not too far from me who uses Digitrax, and he's fallen in love with it since day one. So, either one of those systems is a win-win in my book. My Bachmann system, it's the actual original controller that I had with my set. I had the digital commander set. 2 DCC locomotives and 3 passenger cars and some freight cars with it. And the control center is still working. So that tells you how tough Bachmann stuff is. Stephen KC says, I agree, I'd pre-order CSX Y and 2 or the Diversity in Motion. Yes, that's probably one of the best CSX locomotives they've ever had on their roster. You can hear those things over 5 miles away. You could hear those when they were coming. I've always liked them because of the way they were built, the way its overall appearance, and those things grumbled at 5,000 horsepower. I love the sound of an AC6000. I would, because I know Broadway Limited Imports, I know has done many runs of those. And Charles says, to my understanding, you can also activate the turnouts and all. And I'm thinking about practicing with that later this evening. Yes, you can. From what I have been told through, through some other guys, it's really advanced. And you can do, I think you program locomotives with it. You can do many sound features. And it's a pretty cool system. Adrian Del Toro just said, I think Intermount should do all the CN Heritage units. Yes, they would do that. I wish they would. And Charles said, this is what the Digitrax Dcc system. Yes. Digitrax is very advanced, which some guys like just because they can do a lot with it. Reading Rails, hey, what's going on, brother? How's it going? Great to see you on here, man. Man, the party's rolling. This is great. This is great. But Digitrax is pretty good. There's a lot of model railroaders that use that system. And there's some guys that just simply use the Bachmann Easy Command Control Center. Either system is a win-win. But with the track, like I said before, Bachmann Easy Track is the way to go. N scale, the same way. Bachmann Easy Track. Stephen KC Railfan comes in. Thoughts on the MRC 2.0 sound controller? I am familiar a little bit with MRC. Steve, if you don't mind, let me hold off a second. Let me look at CJ's question. Quick question from CJ. What are some good hobby shops to say Norfolk area, Richmond area, and the Doswell area? Let me think. Now, in Norfolk, where I live, there is a train store that's up there called Dale's Train Station. Please look them up on Facebook. Really good store. I've gone in there for my model railroad needs for all gauges. HO, O gauge, G scale. They're a licensed LGB dealer as well. And they've also an N scale dealer with Cato and Bachmann. They carry most brands. That's the one I recommend. It is a little bit of a hike from Richmond and Doswell, but let me tell you something. It is well worth the drive. I've been going in that store since I was a kid, and they do a really good job, and they do repairs. So the fella in there that can repair most anything. Markland trains, I think he can do. LGB he can fix. Bachmann, Athearn, Atlas, Lionel, K-Line. And even some of the older Lionel stuff as well. And Charles Bond says, glad to hear that, bro. Thank you so much for your input. You're most welcome. I'm glad to help you out. If you continue to ask questions up here, I am glad to answer them. In this group, and explaining for Charles and everybody, I try my best to help you guys out. And sometimes one of the guys may chime in and say, hey, I've had a similar problem. Here's how you do it. So it's all a community here. So please stay on. Please stay on. Oh, Reading Rails actually comes in with something. Do you think Athens should model the NS geometry in 34 and 38? Yes. That's one I have not thought about. That would be a good announcement if Athearn can do that one. I'm really looking forward if Athearn does that one, but that one's going to be a really good one. CJ44 said, no on Dale. Thanks. Looking to stop at a shop next time. The time sharing was okay. All right. Now, I don't know if there's any in Williamsburg. I'm not sure. But Dale's is one of the ones, actually, it's the only train store that is locally, that's independently operated. So that's the store I would definitely recommend you go into because they're an old school store. They're family owned and operated, and they are fantastic. Steve says, I currently use the MRC 2.0 sound controller. You can run for both DC and DCC. Oh, awesome. I have messed with MRC just a little bit, but I hear they're pretty good. But going back to CJ's comment on that, Dale's repairs just about anything. I don't think he does Tyco much now, but like AHM trains, he can fix those. So, trying to remember. Lionel, he can do K-Line, LGB, Markland trains, which is the German HO trains. I think Markland did N-Gauge, but he repairs most any gauge. So either way, for CJ, definitely take a look at them on Facebook. Definitely worth it. So guys, continue to ask questions. This has been great. This has been really, really great. So, yeah, keep them coming in, guys. All right, Charles asking another question that sounds pretty good. Which Bachmann steam engine 484 and DTC would you recommend? And do they even make one? Bachmann makes a good amount of steam engines. I know one of them is the J611 that they do, and they do I think they do a pretty good rendition of it. They have it in sound value, and they do a whole bunch of other ones as well, but the 611 is one of their top line steam engines. And let me take a look at their website real quick, and see what's available. Just let me do a little bit of search on that. While that's pulling up, Redding Rose says, wonder if Atlas should model the CN 1501. That would actually be a really good one to model as well, if Ather decides to do an announcement on it. But the steam engines for Bachmann, getting back to Charles's comment, they're pretty good. So they do a lot of good ones, and I'm very pleased with Bachmann's detail as well. Steven says, do you find it interesting to change couplers on Lifelike and Tyco's rolling stock? Yes, I think it's very cool. And on Steve's most recent video, what he did as a haul for one of his recent trips, he changed one of the Peabody coal hoppers he got from Strasbourg, and I think that was cool. You can order the Bachmann Easy couplers from Bachmann, or even get those at your local train store, and you can just change them out. And it basically is a simple 1, 2, 3. And I do how-to videos on that as well, guys. So if you're looking on how to do that, please look at my channel. And what I'll do is I'll put a link in the bottom as well on that as well. Did Bachmann ever make the UP Big Boys? Let's see. I don't think they have. I don't think they have. I could be wrong. And Charles says, by the way, I meant DCC sound value as far as the engines that I have purchased. Okay. I'm very familiar with the sound value, and I hear it's pretty good, because the first series that they did with the sound value were the Norfolk Southern Heritage Fleet. And I was very surprised that Bachmann did this. I mean, they really have stepped up the game over the past 10 years. They have really stepped up the game. Like I said, the sound value is pretty affordable as well. Okay, Bachmann never did Big Boys. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. I appreciate you piggybacking on this question from Reading Rail. So guys, if maybe I might not be able to answer some, but if one of you guys wants to step in and maybe want to piggyback on a question, hey, go for it. I am wide open. I am wide open. Let's see. For steam locomotives, let's see what they've done. They have done a lot of steam locomotives in the past, and they do a lot of diesel locomotives as well. The Heritage Fleet for Norfolk Southern, they've done that one. They've done a whole bunch. They've even done some of the regular standard EMDs. They have done an American 440. They have done the Baldwin 460, the Norfolk and Western 484. They even done the GS4, the 4449. Those two, the 611 and the 4449, are highly collectible. And the Light Mikado 282, just the 4501, they've done that, and they do really good renditions of these guys. So Bachmann is really good. It's a really good starter brand, but their detail has really stepped up. They've really stepped up the game. So if you're looking for something maybe that's not too expensive or something in the middle, Bachmann's the way to go, and or Walders train line. Walders train line is good as well. Bachmann did do articulated steam ones like the B&O EM1s and also the CNO steam locomotive, but forgotten what it is. Okay. And after you think, and Reading Rail says, I think after should model the CMQ SD40-2 F fleet. That would be really good release from Athearn. They've done the GS4 for Bachmann. They've done the 611. They've done a bunch. Those two I highly recommend. The 2A4 Berkshire as well, which is the let's see, the Pearl Marquis 1225. That's a really good one. I really like that steam engine. Charles says, sounds good. I have 22-inch curving, so that is great. Perfect. Perfect, because the steam engines are longer than your diesels because you have the tender that's on the back, so you have to negotiate extra tight spaces. So you're already ahead on that, buddy. That's wonderful. Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. And plus, Bachmann Easy Track, so simple to put together, but once you get track in from the manufacturer, it's always good to wipe it down with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. You can get that at your local drugstore or even your local grocery store or even Walmart. Use that, take a paper towel and wipe it down to get all the oil and tarnish that may still be on the track before you install it. And on the little ears, wipe a little alcohol on it, then snap the track together. It goes on really easy. Reading Rails asked, did Athearn or Bachmann model the Pan Am units? I know Bachmann has never done those. Athearn, I think, might have done them. I know there have been some runs of Guilford locomotives that have been done in years past. I would not mind seeing another run of the Guilford units. I love Guilford, where the Boston and Maine, the Maine Central, Springfield Terminal all came together and formed Guilford. And of course, in 2007, it became Pan Am, which is now part of CSX. Didn't know about the alcohol. Thanks. You're welcome. I actually read that out of a magazine one day, and I was in the, when I was younger, I said, we could try this. And it gets away most of the dirt and the grime that's on the tracks. It's also good when you clean the wheels on locomotives and rolling stock. Alcohol is the best way to go because not only is it inexpensive, it evaporates very quickly and does all the basic work that you would need it to do. So that's definitely something you want to keep in your model railroad kit. Clayton Farnow comes in, hey man, how's it going? And CSX. But yeah, Norfolk Southern CSX engines in like HO scale and all that, they look so real. Speaking of that, the manufacturers do a wonderful job of going back to the blueprints of when the locos are manufactured by EMD and GE. They go back and they look at all of the specs on them, and I think that's wonderful. Should Amtrak do the P32 ACDM units? Should they? I would say that. Trainman 1993 comes in. Hey man, how's it going? Clayton Farnow says, I'll sub to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Doing great, man. Great to see you. Great to see you on here. One thing about Trainman 1993, he does some HO and he does some O scale as well. So, all you guys, please sub to each other's channels, okay? Please sub to each other's channels. Reading Rails does a little bit of everything. Charles Bond, he's a new guy. Glad to see him on. Sub to his channel. Stephen Casey, Railfan, does a little bit of both. He's sort of like me, does some Railfan and does some model trains as well. So definitely look at these channels, guys. Thoughts on Cato releasing Amtrak 100? Yes, they released it. My favorite 50th anniversary unit by Amtrak. That was probably the best paint scheme they ever did. Because it is the most unique. It's something that you don't see a lot. It's not that it's not cool. It is cool, but it's something that not all the railroads have done. It's a really pretty paint. Clayton said, you must be Engineer Pat 5290. Yes, I am. Nice to finally meet you on here. Are you a freight train fan? I love trains. I love trains in general. Model trains, freight trains, passenger trains. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Steven says he would get the 160 or the 108 for Cato, 100 for Athearn Genesis. Yes. Oh, wow, this is great. Charles Bond says, bro, you got me amped up. Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm fixing to use some rubbing alcohol to clean my track, and I'll get back to getting the Digitrax figured out. I'm out. Hey, man, thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you were on, and glad I was able to help you out. And glad the group was able to do it as well. So, perfect, perfect, perfect. NASCAR fan too, man. Hey, that's awesome, man. Awesome. AR Jacks Productions comes. He's a fairly new guy. Hey, man, how's it going? Steve said, I would need to make a Southwest Chief and HO. Oh, man. Here's what the concept needs to be. A Phase 3 Genesis, a Phase 3 -8W, and a Phase 3 F40. Put the F40 up front. Dude, that would be great. Reading Rails says, I saw the 100 and 108 back in January. I actually got to see the 100 as well. And I've got videos on those as well. I've seen the 100. I love the Midnight Blue special. And really glad to see all you guys are on, man. This is great. This is great. I'm very, very pleased with this. So, guys, keep it coming. I'm going to top off my glass with some more water. Keep the comments coming. I'll be right back. Matt, I'll be right back to answer your question. Okay, I've got a few comments in. During my little bit of a break here. Trayman 1993 asks, I know there's some comments that came in, so just please bear with me. What's your favorite thing about pre-war O-Gauge? This was going back to the 30s and 40s. That was cool stuff, man. The pre-war stuff is cool. It's made out of basically tin plate almost. And also, like, the feel of it, the big ruggedness of the train. Like, you're actually having a railroad in your house back in the day was a huge deal. Pre-war had different couplers before the knuckles, because in the post-war they changed it from the little lever couplers to the knuckle couplers of what it is now. That was really cool to see the difference between pre-war and post-war because of their tooling, and I've always loved it for that. Clayfar asks, hey, what happened to an NS C40-9? If you will, this is from model trains, but if you will, please ask that on the Q&A that I have that's out. That's for the big trains. This is from model trains, but you're welcome to stay on. Reading Rail says, I think the GE C39-8 should get modeled if they haven't already. I think there was a run of some of them years back, but I would love to see Athearn Genesis do a run. Stephen KC says, yeah, but I model modern Amtrak. I like Phase 3, but I also like modern Amtrak. Yeah, the Genesis in Phase 3, I love them in Phase 3. I have a Phase 3 Genesis on my HS scale fleet as well. That's the best scheme that has ever been put on the Genesis is Phase 3 because it's sleek, it's awesome looking, and it's a scheme that makes you want to keep looking at it. And Trayman 1993 says, and Clayton responded to Steven there, do you think it'd be cool there if American Flyer did a Norfolk Southern EMD SD40-2? I would love to see that in S scale. That's a scale that's not talked about much anymore. I have seen an S gauge layout, and let me tell you something. S gauge is pretty cool. It's slightly smaller than O gauge, but the American Flyer name is still being carried on through Lionel because in 1968, American Flyer went bankrupt. Lionel bought the company, which means they bought the rights and the tooling to produce American Flyer. And the newer stuff that they have produced, they're putting the Lionel tooling in there, like Legacy Rail Sounds, and the whole 9 yards. Clayton Farr asks, what's your favorite train? Are you talking model trains or real trains? And for Reading Rails, how about the Phase 4 F40s get modeled? Walters or Rapido did a run of those. I think it was Walters. They did, I believe they did Phase 4, they did Phase 3 and Phase 2, and they even did the Via Rails over in Canada. Now, that's a pretty locomotive that you can look at. Phase 3 looked better on the F40 than the Phase 4, just in my model railroad perspective and the real train perspective. But the thing is, I would always love seeing a Phase 3 F40. That scheme was meant for that locomotive. To answer Clayton's question, please ask that on my Q&A that I have for June. That is already on my channel where I accept most any questions. This is for model railroad stuff where you can ask model railroad questions. And you can obviously learn about the hobby through this. And like Charles was on earlier, getting some, trying to get started. And if you're interested in getting started, come on down. If you want to ask random questions about model trains, please ask them. Trainman 1993 comes back in. Do you think it'd be pretty cool if they made an EMD SW1001 in HO? Oh, that's a switcher that no one talks about. That is a switcher no one talks about. I would love to see that. So, because a lot of the switchers that are modeled are like NW2s, SW1000s, SW1000, SW1500s, MP15 ACs and DCs. And I would love to see the 1001 get modeled as well, or even the SW1200. The SW1200 was really good. Clayton, please remember to keep all comments pertaining to this live stream. This is model trains. If you have questions about, if you want to ask questions about the real stuff, please ask my Q&A. And Matt, thank you for clarifying this. I do appreciate it. And Stephen KC says, I would love MP15 HO. My favorite kind of switcher. Same here. The MP15 was a really cool switcher. And it's just the back of that switcher just makes you want to keep looking at it. You don't see as many yard switchers out there anymore, but let me tell you something. I've always loved them in HO. I always have. And that was a really popular switcher with Southern Railway bought the MP15 DCs. There was a bunch of them that bought the MP15 DCs. And they were good switchers. Like to see the SW8 modeled. Yes, good one, good one. I wouldn't even mind seeing the SW9 as well, because I know one of the short lines in North Carolina has one. It was built, I believe it was an ex-Conrail switcher. Clayton, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. Definitely appreciate it. And Steve said they did like Waco and did like Waco and SBS of KC said I get some. Yes. I would love to see the MP15 in HO with NS paint, and I would not mind seeing it in KCS. KCS is a very vibrant scheme. And nice to meet you too, man. Guys, please continue these questions and comments, man. This is great. Couple more have come in. Reading Rail says, and the SW1500 should get modeled. Yes, I think Athearn did a run of those years ago. Would love to see them do it again. Trainman 1993 asks, that's Matt. Do you like to see some MP15 DCs made in G scale? That's actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Oh, man. If LGB did a run of those, oh, man, that would be good. That would be good. And Steve says, I wish I had some KCS SD70 Aces. Yes. The Aces in KCS paint look really pretty. They bought, I believe, the first-gen Aces. I know CSX had it, UP had it, KCS had it. I think UP actually rebuilt theirs. They fixed a bunch of the issues in them, and they're still running. Um, I think KCS still has some of theirs. I know CSX sold theirs off, but those two railroads were the first ones that were the only two that the first gens that still have them. The NS bought the SD70M-2, which I know the model railroad companies have done. They bought those, and then they bought the Aces. They bought the second gen Aces, and I love those. I'd like to see the 4006 from KCS get modeled. That's a good one to model. And the Union Pacific employee unit, I think it's like on the power of their people unit. That's a really good one that Athearn has modeled as well. That's a really good one. Stephen Casey comes, yes, I'd love to get 4006. That's a pretty sexy model. UP 1943 is a good one as well, with the combination of so many of the units. The first veterans unit they did in the 70s, the Desert Storm unit, and even, just kind of revived and put all three of them together, which I thought was great. Matt says that's Trainman 1993. Patrick, my good friend, it would be pretty cool if Athearn did another run of the Union Pacific 70Ms and the 60Es. Yes, I think Athearn has talked about another run of the 70Ms. I would love to see him do another run of the 60Es because I love the 911. And yes, Reading Railroad, yes, UP 1111. Hang on one second. But I'd be honest with you, I would love to see another run of the 60Es, Athearn Genesis, because they nailed it the first time. I mean, they really outdid it themselves. It was a beautiful model that they did. I have the 911, and I have been nothing but impressed with that locomotive. Oh, here's a good one that Steve just mentioned. I think Scale Trade should do the KCS 4859. The Safety Starts Here unit. Yes, that's a good one to model. That'd be a really good one to model. Keep asking the questions, guys. I'm just going to respond to a quick text, so keep the questions coming. So, this has been great, guys. A lot of good creativity that's been coming in of what locomotives haven't been modeled and maybe ones that need to be rerun. Oh, Matt asked another really good question. Would you like to see Bachmann make a crossing gate with lights and bell for easy track? Yes, that's good, man. That's a really good one. I wish the current ones had that too. I mean, they have the alternate crossing gates, but they don't have lights. I really, really, really want them to do that. Stephen KC asked, do you like Walders structures? Walders structures are pretty cool. They do a really good line of buildings. I have not had any Walders buildings in my layouts, but I've had some Lifelike, some Bachmann, well, that's Plasticville, and various others. But Walders line is really good. Did Scale Tree ever model the KCS Grey Ghost? And Steven just tagged along with this. No, they have not, but that would be really good. The Grey Ghost scheme was really cool when they did it. Oh, man. Now, that scheme is a dying breed. It's just like CSX 1 and 2. That is a dying breed. But definitely one of the most unique paint schemes is that Grey Ghost. So, keep on the questions, guys. This is great. This has been really, really great. And Matt just says, and yes, they did it in the 80s for just the regular track. Would like to see a log loader in HO Scale 2 from Lionel. Yes. Lionel has come back with the HO line. Speaking of this is a really good move, and I'm really glad to see that Lionel is making another attempt with HO. When I first heard about it, I was blown away. They have done some things in HO, and I am very pleased with it. I remember learning about the older Lionel HO and learning about some of the other things that they did, and they have really stepped up the game, and I'm very pleased with it. So, Stephen Casey and Reading Rails just popped in with some more stuff. This is great. Should Walders bring back the pulpwood flat cars? And I know they did them in the gold line. That was a good release. And would not mind seeing those again. And it's a shame that Goes are getting repainted to Southern Belle. Yeah. Out of the two schemes, I like Southern Belle better just because, to me, it's more vibrant. How about the 154 automatic highway flasher in HO from Lionel? That would be a good one for them to do. Because the 154 is a popular signal that Lionel has. And I have one on the O-gauge layout as well. And it also has the 123C contactor where the wheels roll over and it gives it the flashing effect. So I love that signal. And that's one of Lionel's most popular signals, as well as the banjo signal. They're my two favorite signals by Lionel. So keep on the questions, guys. This is great. I'm just sitting here enjoying some vanilla wafer cookies. Just having a little refreshment as we continue on with this. This is great, guys. I'm really glad to see that you guys are getting creative with your questions and thinking of good questions that might be able to help, not only yourselves, but maybe somebody that's like Charles Bond from earlier. He asked some really good questions on how to get started. So this is what we're looking for, guys. So, good to see you, Matt. Thanks for tuning in. He's got it ready to head on out. So great to see you, man. Come back anytime. Come back anytime. So I'll continue the stream for another little bit. This has been wonderful. This has been really wonderful. Steven comes back in with another question. Actually, another comment, excuse me. It would be really cool if Bachmann did Henry's Flying Skipper set or Jane's Passenger set with either the branch line coaches or even the Red Express coaches. That would actually look really good. How about the Alaska Road to be modeled? And can I get some of those cookies you got there? Man, I wish I could share some with you right now. And they're good, by the way. The Alaska Railroad has actually been modeled. The Alaska Railroad actually sells trains with their own name and everything. They've been modeled. Let's see, the 70. Let's see, they have the 70 and the 70 Mac. Said they have the 70 Mac non-flared, and they also have some HO models of some of their older EMDs. So they actually sell model trains with their own name on it that's been made by Bachmann. I believe Athearn has done some runs for them. Oh, yes. The Alaska Railroad 70 Mac looks really pretty in HO. I've wanted to get my hands on one for a long time because those locomotives, the 70Ms, were actually built, they came in kit form from EMD, and they were built at Juniata shops by Norfolk Southern. So that's why I love the Alaska Railroad, because the 70 Macs were actually built by Norfolk Southern at Altoona. So definitely want to check out the Alaska Railroad store with their model train section. They have a really nice section if you're looking for Alaska Railroad. So, guys, keep this on. This is great. So, I'm going to continue the coverage for a little bit more. So if you guys think of some other stuff, please come on in. And this is good. Now Steve's thinking about getting some Alaska Rare at 70 max. Nice. They're really pretty. They're really, really pretty. I know K-Line did a run in O scale. Athearn has done them in HO scale. I have loved the 70 Mac, both flared and non-flared. The non-flares were the early version. And that's what BN got those. Conrail ordered 15 of them. And Alaska, I think Alaska has like 15 or 20 of those. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to look that up real quick. Excuse me. The 70 Max that they have are from 4001 to 4016. They were built between December of 1999 and January of 2000, which is the 00. 4317 through 4324 were built in 2004, and 4325 through 4328 were built in December of 2007. So they do have quite a number of Alaska Max on their roster, so that's definitely worth it getting one of those in HO because they're a really unique Max. Should UP 1979 get modeled? Yes, sir. That was from Reading. That was from Reading Rails. You think Strasbourg could bring back their passenger cars in HO? Dude, that would be a really nice release, and they can sell them right there at Strasbourg. That would be really good if they can do it. And I think Strasbourg had a run of their passenger cars at one point. I really think so. It's been a long time, but I think so. So, excuse me for just a second. Keep the comments coming. I'll be right back. Excuse me about that. I had to take care of my nose real quick. But getting back to that, Strasbourg cars would be a really good release, and they could sell them right there in the gift shop. That would be really good for them. And Roundhouse did them. Okay, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I thought Athearn did those. I couldn't remember. But, yeah. Athearn's done a lot of cool releases over the course of many years. Athearn, I've always been a fan of, just because of their tooling and also their drive system is really, really good. The details are flawless. Athearn Genesis is the way to go if you want full details. Now, if you want some detail that's affordable, Athearn Ready to Roll is good. I have a few Athearn Ready to Rolls with sound, and there's a couple that don't have sound. But Athearn Ready to Roll is a really good line. And I think the T1 has been modeled in HO scale because I believe, I think someone on YouTube gave a sneak peek of it. That was Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan's Trains. That's another one that does a lot of the revivals and getting things repaired and whatnot. Dirty Dan is good, as well as SMT Mainline. That's Harrison. He's really good. And Classic Model Trains. That's one that I recently subscribed to. That guy's pretty good. And Vintage Road and Rail. He's new at repairing trains as well. So that's there's 4 channels right there that you can watch on some revivals of some of this stuff. So that's really good there. And Stephen KC recently did a revival on a CP AC44. He popped in a new I think a new board, and I think a new decoder. And Steve, if you could elaborate on that for the chat, that would be great. He actually put a new decoder in it, and it made it run a whole lot smoother. And Steve just had a Strasbourg experience and wish they had those passengers in the gift shop. I always saw Bachmann train sets. Oh man, oh man, wow! The passenger cars could really be a seller up there because it's a local museum up there selling their models of their passenger cars. That would be great. And like the Alaska Railroad, they've done that with the model trains with their name, which I think is absolutely wonderful that they're doing that. So definitely, 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 definitely a good point. So, all right, so we'll continue the stream for about, another few minutes to kind of get some more questions in before the night is over. So please continue to ask questions, guys. Please, come on down. Hold on, Steve. I'll get to your comment in just a second. And yeah, the CPAC 4400 I had used is used, and I did put a spare jumper decoder and took out the TCS decoder. Didn't like how it performed with the TCS decoder. Yeah, and I was seeing that in your video as well, and he used parts out of something that he was working on that's in storage and was able to find some usable parts and get it going. Really good, guys. So Steve has learned how to revive a little bit, okay? So if you have not looked at his revival video, it's a really good one. I was very, very impressed with his not only creativity, but the skills that he has. And I'm really glad to see it. So guys, if you ever have the chance to learn to repair some of this stuff, do it because it's fun stuff. Oh, how about the Conrail E8s to be modeled? Yes. How about the whole officer train be modeled and have it as a complete set? I love the Conrail officer special with the two dark green E8s with Conrail stamped in dark yellow. Oh, I love it. What's a TCS decoder? Steve, if you're still on, can you elaborate on that, please? I think they're a similar company to Digitrax. If you could elaborate on that, please, I would appreciate it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the snack away here and get some more water, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. A TCS decoder, Steve might still be on. Oh, here it is. It's like one of the DCC decoders. Thanks. Yeah, Digitrax is the way to go with decoders. Digitrax decoders I've never had a problem with. And Digitrax is what most model railroaders go with. And Reading Rails agrees. The Conrail officer train is really pretty. And Steve says, such as Digitrax, MRC, etc. Thank you. MRC is not bad, but Digitrax to me is top of the line. Digitrax is just good. You can get the parts, I think, most anywhere. Train stores. And I think you get them from some hobby stores, but train stores is where to go to get that because if you have a train store in your area that does decoder work, about 99.9% of them, I'm taking a guess, will use Digitrax because Digitrax is the brand to go with. Steven asks, should Bachmann make NS OCS cars? Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them do a run or even Athearn Genesis. I would love to see it in Athearn Genesis. And put all the officer train for NS or even the KCS officer train. They would be good. And Reading Rails, that's Andrew says, I'm down for that. And I would love to see the new CSX officer engines that are in the B&O livery. I'd love to see those in HO. with the officer train. Oh man, wouldn't that be pretty? Hearing the K5 LA, because all those are ex-Amtrak engines, and hearing those, oh yeah. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. So I'll continue the stream for another little bit. Please continue to ask. Okay, Steve just came back in with something. Yes, KCS, OCS. I know Walter did KCS F7s. They did, but it's been a long time. Did Bachmann model the UPS OCS cards and the CP ones? I don't think so. Excuse me. I don't think so. It would be good to see those run as well. So, yeah. Keep on the questions, guys. We'll continue the stream for another few minutes to see if anybody has any, some more questions before we tie up for the night. So, this has been a really great stream, guys. We've had a lot of good people come on and asking good questions. This is what it's all about. When you are finding the hobby that you like and learning more about it and taking advice from other people that are in this hobby, this is wonderful. And this is what model railroading is all about. And that's what Railfan's all about. Oh, Steve, yes. High Hood 38-2s. I would love to see them modeled. I wouldn't mind seeing Bachmann do that, but on the higher level with this, I would love to see Athearn Genesis do a rendition. I would love to see Athearn Genesis do a rendition. Because to me, Athearn Genesis is the way to go. And I wouldn't even mind seeing Atlas do it. I haven't mentioned Atlas all night, but I would love to see Atlas and Athearn do a release. So, let's see. Had to respond to a quick message real quick. And we've got a couple more comments coming in, guys. Should Athearn model the RBMN 2102? Oh, yes, the Reading T1. Bring it. Wish Atlas would do the Y2-8Ws again. Oh, yes. They do a good rendition. And they even did a really good one with Conrail. With their, I think it was their master line with the, I think it was a QSI sound, or it was lock sound. I think it was QSI sound, or it was quantum sound, or it was lock sound, and they did really good with that. That was a really handsome model that Atlas did. They nailed the Dash 8. They really nailed the Dash 8. Really would see it again. So we picked up some more viewers on here, guys. So please come on down. Come on down. Ask some questions. Come on down with the beverage of your choice and the food of your choice. Come on down. So we've had some good questions coming in, guys. I'm really pleased with this, because this is great that we've been able to help each other. So it's all about helping each other in the hobby, guys. So definitely take a chance to help someone out and be an inspiration of help, because that little help will go a long way. So keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. So, like Stevens was saying earlier, that the Dash 8 should be released again from Atlas. They're really pretty, and I've always loved the way Atlas has done their detailing as well as Athearn. They are really neck and neck when it comes to detail. I only have one Atlas locomotive in my collection, and that's 5642. That's an engine I love to run. And thank you. I appreciate that, Reading Rails. Thank you, thank you. I'd love to see that engine in action. I really would. That is actually one of my favorite Reading steam locomotives. I'll speak on the real side for a brief moment. That's one of my favorite Reading steam locomotives. The paint scheme is pretty on it, and I'll be honest with you, it makes me want to keep looking at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful steam locomotive. So, yeah, I really do like it. I really do like that. I'm glad to see that locomotive was restored and it's running. So that's a really highlight. That's a really big highlight up there for that, as well as rail fans. Rail fans love it when steam locomotives are restored. And I would love to see one of the companies model the CNO 1309, the last Baldwin. I really would love to see that one modeled too. So, well, guys, it is with that we conclude Model Railroad Monday's June edition. I just would like to say thank you to everyone who tuned into this live stream. Definitely some really good questions. And should Atlas add the ditch lights for the Dash 8s? The standard cab or the wide cab, Steve? Because I know the wide cabs they did. If you're talking about the standard cabs, yes. And, oh, Loco Nerd comes. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hey, how's it going? Got to record the high horn for the Bachmann SEMA Via Rail locomotive coming out this winter. Awesome. Cannot wait. I cannot wait for that to come out. Man, that's going to be good. Oh, yeah, the standard cab. Yeah, I would love to see that too, Steve. They may have added them on the earlier runs. I don't think so. But if they could go back and add those in there like they did with the wide cabs, that would actually be really good. Because if they had those in YN2, that would be probably their best seller. Because the YN2 looked good on the Dash 8, without a doubt. I love the Dash 8 standard cabs in YN2. So, and it is with that, guys, that we end the stream. Steve, thank you so much for coming in. Loco Nerd, thank you guys for coming on tonight. Andrew, good to see you. And a lot of guys came on tonight. Thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. I will be doing another one of these in July. I apologize for not keeping the community section up because I've just been real busy. But more announcements will be coming out soon. I've got a couple of more live streams planned. So definitely keep on the notifications for all of this as we continue through the month of June. So as always, guys, if you're new to the channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button and drop a thumbs up below if you like the video. And please remember to tap the bell with all the latest notifications that will be coming in as the channel will be progressing throughout the summer. So please hit that notification bell with all the projects that I will have coming up. So, and one final question, NPPL units get modeled? Yes. Bachmann did the 5260. They have not done the 5261. 5259 was retired, but 5261 has not been modeled. So I would love to see after do a run on this one, since Bachmann did the 5260, and I really would love to get my hands on that one with DCC and Sound if they ever decide to run one. So guys, it's with that we conclude the stream. Thank you guys again. This has been great. Just remember, if you're new to the channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button. And please remember to give the videos a thumbs up. And also ring the bell for notifications as well. Like I said, more products are coming out. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm Engineer Pat 5290. And I really hope you found this live stream helpful. And I will see you guys next month with Model Railroad Monday's July edition. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you all very much, and may God bless, and I wish all of you clear signals ahead.